show's better than your show.
Haunted Maryland. This is Fells Point, located near the famous Baltimore Harbor. Fells Point is a very historical location. It's home to many ancient buildings, and when this is a factor, ghost hauntings are likely. One location in particular is Whistling Oyster. Here at this location, employees experience supernatural phenomena such as sounds of footsteps and banging, visions of ghostly figures, and sense of negative presence. We spoke to 2 employees at this bar where they provide information of their experiences.
One night I was closing up years back, and I was standing at the end of the bar. There was no one in the establishment myself, and I was counting out the nightly receipts and heard running down the steps near the end of the bar there, and waiting for the door to open. Then I realized the steps are no longer there. Of course, the door didn't open. I went over to the door and opened the door. Nothing had fallen off the shelf, which they turned into a closet, so there was nothing on the shelves that had fallen. But there was definitely a sound of someone running down the steps. And that kind of bothered me, so I closed up quickly and left the establishment.
One Saturday night, about a year and a half ago, I was closing up and it was a really busy night, so it was probably about 4:30 in the morning, and I normally count my money up by the bar in another room, and I decided to go sit in the dining room. Well, I was almost finished, and all of a sudden I started hearing noises like something running up and down stairs across the top of the back of the dining room. Well, no one lives up there, and the stairs haven't been there in, I don't know, maybe 15 years or more. And then dust just started coming off the rafters, and the noise just kept going, and it was about, it went on for about 15 minutes, and I quick put everything in the safe, and I locked up, and I ran out of here.
The owners used to live upstairs. Now no one lives up there. But one morning, the wife came down to start business, and there was a elderly black gentleman sweeping the floor. Well, it kind of startled her because they had hired no one to clean. She went back upstairs and asked her husband, "Why didn't you tell me you hired someone to sweep?" And he told her he didn't. Well, that kind of startled him. They both came down, and there was no one in the establishment, and the doors were all locked. The gentleman was dressed, she said, in a colonial type of outfit, and needless to say, it startled her. But so since then, and before then, no one had ever seen this gentleman before.
This past Christmas Eve, I worked with another bartender, and we were getting ready to close up, and right where I am now, she's sweeping and I'm washing the dishes. And all of a sudden she stopped talking to me and she looked into the dining room and she's like, "What do you want? What do you want?" Well, there was a ghost. He was not in full form, but you can make out in his 70s, baseball cap. He had tattered clothing on, and he walked out to look at us, and he came almost to the foot of the bar. And she just continued to go on sweeping, and I just, since they're lost souls, we kept saying, "God bless you, what do you want? Go back to your special place, you should be in heaven right now." And he just turned right around and walked back into the kitchen, and that was that.
Well, there was an incident where I was working in another establishment, which closed at 1 o'clock. A couple I met during the evening had moved into the Fells Point area, and they were new to the area, knew nothing about the area, and I was bringing them to the Whistling Oyster to introduce them to the people here. And it was about 1 o'clock in the evening. We came and the bar was kind of crowded, so we stepped up to the end of the bar, back by the stairs, where I had an incident with the running of someone down the steps. And while we were standing there talking, the gentleman proceeded to like look around like he felt something or sensed something. And I asked his wife what he was doing, and she said he must sense spirits or something. She said he's been known to feel things in the atmosphere and so forth. And that kind of startled me because I had sort of forgotten about what happened with me. And I told him the story about the incident with someone running down the steps, and he said, well, there's definitely some spirit or something in this general area right where we were standing. So that was kind of, like I said, confirming what I had felt with the sensing something myself.
You just heard the testimonies from the employees of Whistling Oyster. Whether you believe it or not, imagine working alone on a dark night, but you realize you're not alone because you hear footsteps. Do you investigate, or do you stay there thinking it's only your imagination? There are many more locations to investigate. Come and join us next time on another episode of Haunted Maryland.
My show is better than your show.